Hello, welcome to Createful Art. Today I would love to show you how to paint this beautiful beach scene. We're going to have so much fun relaxing and just painting very loose. Before we begin, help make more tutorials like this one by hitting that subscribe button and the bell next to it. Let's begin by getting our supplies. You're going to want a surface to paint on, whether that's a panel or a canvas or a piece of paper. And then you want your acrylic paints, paint brushes, a paper towel, and water, and then we can get started. If you're wondering what supplies I'm using, those are listed in the description of this video. I'm going to start getting my palette ready by putting my black right here. Then grab your white. Next is my primary red. Next I grab my primary yellow, my primary blue, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on my palette right here. So now I have my 5 main colors that will mix and make all the other colors that we'll be using. First I'm going to mix my blue with some black and a tiny little bit of red. I mix that up real good. If you would like the printable that goes along with this lesson that shows you the colors you're matching, then go ahead and become a Createful Art member. I'll put a link right here and in the description. Next, I'm going to mix white with that blue to lighten the color. This will give you an idea of what this dark color will look like when it is lightened, and we will use some of this color in our paintings. Next, I'm going to use my primary yellow and mix it with my primary blue. Then I add some white to lighten the color, and then I'll know if I need to adjust it by adding more blue or more yellow to match the color in our color scheme. I'm going to leave that blue color on my brush and grab some more white to lighten and create another color. This color needs a little bit more white and a little bit more yellow. The next color is a very light blue-gray, so I'm going to start with my black and my white. And I'm going to create a gray, and I'm leaving the blue that's on my brush. I keep lightening that color with white and graying it down with black until I've achieved that color. Now let's make an orange by mixing our red with our yellow. Don't worry about getting these colors exact. The next color that you want to mix is considered a bronze yellow, and you make it with your yellow and your black. Then add some white to lighten the color. You should have some of that orange that you made on your brush still, but if you don't, you want to grab some more orange. To create the next color, you're going to want to grab some of that bronze yellow and a lot of white. You're making a dull sandy color, so you may need to add a little bit more black. It also has a little bit more orange in it, so I'm going to grab some of that. And then I think I have achieved that color. Looks great. So the next color is also a very light color, so I'm going to have a lot of white with it and a little bit of bronze. To brighten the color up, I'm going to add some yellow. This may look like it's white, but it's really not, so we're going to color check it. And I need it to stand out on a white surface more, so I'm going to add more yellow to it. That works, so let's make another color that's light. I'm going to use white and a little of that reddish orange color I made. Just mix those two together, that's it. The last color is really easy to make. All you do is add white to your red and you make a pink color. Don't worry about your colors looking exactly the same as mine. Now that you know how to mix all of these colors, let's start painting with them. So I'm going to grab this 1-inch flat brush, and I'm going to grab my blue here, and I'm going across the top with this blue. In this particular painting, I'm focusing on my brush strokes going from side to side. So I'm going to just grab the white and just add it straight to my canvas and then blend it going up. So I'm going to take all of that color off my brush and then just very, very lightly take some of that color off and then go back and forth until it's nicely blended. So I'm going to darken the top because I feel like there's not enough change in the sky. So I'm going to add some more of the dark color up there. Now I'm going to grab my 1/2-inch flat brush and I'm dipping it in my dark blue. And I'm going to create a line across. So I'm giving it about a little bit over 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inches from the top. And then I'm going to pull some streaks underneath it. So see how I left some of that light blue behind it as a gap? That just shows that there's waves back there. So I'm going to pull it over, but not quite reach the entire side. For now anyways. Now I'm grabbing my dark green, and I'm going to add some of that color in the waves back there. As I pull forward, I'm going to transition from the dark blue to a more teal color. Now I'll grab the lighter teal color that I've made, and I just go down here underneath the ocean waves and fill in some of that area. I'm going to take that color off my brush, and I'm going to grab the sand color. And I'm going to pull the sand from the sides over into that teal color and fill in that white. I'm going to take that sand just above where the white is, and it'll blend with the blue in the background, and that's okay. That's going to be some form of land that's coming out, so I just wanted to see what it'll look like. And I'm going to do the same here on the left. And I reach over to that dark blue, fill it in, and then I'm filling in the white area with sand again. So now I'm just going to fill in this area now that's forward or closer to us with the sand color. And it doesn't matter what your brush strokes are, just play around here. So now I have about 2/3 of the painting filled in. And I'm going to grab my yellow, and I'm going to start adding in the lighter part of the sand. So this is where the sunlight is hitting. So the value has to be lighter. And now I'm just going to blend that in. And then add straight white onto spots. And this is going to make that sand lighter. I'm going to lift this blue line back here up a little bit more. Just take a line across. I'm going to bring the blue line in to start making these islands or these land masses separate from the sand. So over there on the right, I'm just bringing that blue across, not reaching the edge completely and then pulling down. On the left, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to take that blue line all the way over to the edge this time. And then you can see it just separates those two land masses back there on the side. And then I'm adding this dark blue where the water is reaching the sand. And then those really don't have to have any specific shape. When you add the dark blue to the water that is coming in around those islands back there, you want to have the dark blue on the edges. So I'm going to add black to my brush, just adding that black to parts of that rock formation and leaving some of it that sandy color. And so I'm creating the shadow with the black, and the sandy color is going to be the light. And it's not going to just have these two colors. There's going to be more to it. But it needs to dry because they'll just mix together. Now I'm going to grab that grayish blue color that I have, and I'm going to create this line across and go over my sand a little bit here. That just creates this cool sandy color. You can add this to anywhere on your painting. Now I'm going to grab my yellow, and that will contrast with that color. I'm going to concentrate on the lower part here, lighten it a little bit, and bring it down. If you find that you're struggling with this, you can go ahead and get my reference photo by becoming a Createful Art member, and then you'll know where to add these brush strokes. But I always emphasize being creative and doing what you want first. And we're going to make this trail down here with this yellow. So on the right, just bring it down to about the middle, curve it, and then bring it down to the middle. On the left, curve it and go to the corner on the bottom left, and then fill in that area with the yellow. And then I add white to my brush and focus on blending in some white on the right side of the trail area there. I'm adding the peach and the pink and kind of figuring out how that right side will be because it's going to have more sunlight there. So I'm just pulling that right edge all the way to the bottom right and figuring out what kind of colors I want. So just play around with me. Maybe we'll try some pink, some peach, whatever. And maybe I'm going to have to totally lighten this and change this at the end. I don't know. I'm going to add a little bit of pink back there in the sand back there, because then I'm just going to only have the pink and the peach in the front, and I want to have this a harmonious painting. So I'm seeing where I can add just a little pieces of the same colors. So now I'm going to pull up with my brush, and I have black on my brush, and I'm creating these grasses. Notice how I just kind of flick, and I let some of my brush touch in portions, and then I lift off, and then it covers less area. So with grasses, it's good to have your grasses just going every which way and to have a lot of different colors. So now I've grabbed that tan and add that tan in there. And I'm going to have some grasses going curvy. So you see how there's a lot of white in it now. I'm getting rid of all that white because there's not going to be white in there. It's going to have lots of shadow and color. So I'm going to make this my main color, which is this middle tan, I guess, to get rid of all those whites. And now I'm going to add in some coral in that corner. And then I'll do the same thing on the left. And I don't want the left and the right to be exactly the same. So I'm going to pull up and cover that white area with that tan again, but still have some shapes going on. So I still use the side of my brush and start making the grasses. Now I'm going to start adding in the cool colors. I'm going to grab this green, and then I'm going to pull up the same thing, just get these grasses going, and then pull down a little bit and grab some black to create the shadow, because the sand dune is up above the trail. So I need to shape this out. So I'm pulling down, and then I'm going to curve this right here and then create some grasses going from it. So now I'm going to create some shadows coming from the grasses, and that's with the blue. And then right here, I'm creating the shadows of the grasses I haven't even made yet by going on the trail with it. See? So I leave that yellow area, and that looks like that's where the light's touching the sand. And this is a really, really, really important part, because you don't have to have all of these grasses going the same direction. You can see how that blue in the middle is like pulled down and the other ones are pulled more to the right. It doesn't matter, because grasses go all different directions, and you're just creating the shadow. And then you want that shadow to also be underneath, or like the side of that sand dune. So I'm going to pull that blue all the way over to the other sand dune. So I'm going to use the green color again to create some of the shadow parts, or just like some green grasses in there. Your eye will make sense of it. So see how I'm pulling up in some areas and then pulling down in others. And I'm not doing every tiny little blade of grass with a very detailed brush. This is an impressionistic painting. So your blades of grass and how you're doing things doesn't have to look exactly like mine at all. I just want you to follow along where I'm placing them. So see how it really starts to form right now, these sand dunes, and you're starting to go, oh, I know what these are now. They're not just blobs. And having a variety in those grasses is going to create interest. The darkest part, or the most shadowed area of the sand dunes, and having this contrast makes it so that it looks like it's a very sunny day. So I am concentrating on the bottom part of the grasses. And notice I didn't cover all of the coral, leaving parts of that to show through. Now I'll do that same thing over here on the left. These grasses come out in all different directions. I really like how the grasses poke out of the sand dune right there on the left. So you have to have some of this black to create some more detail. You have to have the contrast. So see how it's really coming together now and starting to shape because we've added now the contrast, and that's created the light and the shadows. And we've added several different colors, and that's created interest. So I'm just going to grab some bronze gold, and I'm going to start adding that color into my painting. And I feel like I need it back here so that I can have that separate line between the really light sand that hasn't gotten wet and the light shining on the sand that's more forward. So if you don't like this part, you don't have to add it. So I'm going to add some of that back here on that, close to that rocky shoreline. And you can put it really wherever you want. Then I'll add a little bit of it in this sand up here. I try to put a color in several parts of my painting always for harmony. Same thing, I'm just using my flat brush to create these little spiky grasses. And notice how I don't have to, I can make it a clump, like I don't have to have it just straight little strands. And see, when you add it to that left side, then it starts to create harmony in the painting. It makes a difference. Now I'm trying to get these grasses to go up a little bit further to break up that line that I created, that horizontal line with the bronze gold back there. And then I just add wherever I want. Like if I see that I want some bronze gold in an area, I just put it there. This is all personal preferences right now. I'm going to make another shadow here reaching across. So notice how I kind of added this different shape to that rocky formation. And that's how I feel it needs to be, is that they need to be different shapes. I feel like both of them on the left and the right look very, very similar. And that's how it looks in the reference photo. So that's why I'm doing it. But I think I'm going to change that in the end. And you can see that in your reference photo that I completely change it. But for now, I'm adding some layers. I'm going to add a little bit of green for some grasses maybe in the back there. And now I'm going to take my white and add in some waves back here. Because the water is coming in and it's going to hit these rocky formations back here. This is a very shallow area. That's why it goes from blue to this light green, is because that dark blue back there, that's the deeper water, and then it comes into the shore and it's just shallow and pleasant. So I need to have some white throughout, and then I need to add some black under this little rocky formation that's coming out of here, because that's going to be a high contrast area. It's time to go with your gut and your preferences. Relax. Enjoy this moment. I mean, everybody's going to have kind of a different look, because some of us will go more detailed and some more impressionistic. Some of us will need to work on our brush strokes a little bit more. That's all okay. I even grabbed some magenta here to put into my grasses. Something you can do if you like the look, but you don't have to. This is all about personal preferences and just playing around. Now see how easy it is with acrylic paints to take things out. Nothing is ever permanent. I just made that the ocean back there. And I like it a lot more. And I'm just going to add a little bit of light over some of the area, and it looks like it just never was a thing. Now, it's not that I didn't like that rocky formation on the right side. I actually did. I feel like having the rocky formation on the left without the one on the right makes the painting feel heavy on the left. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a little bit coming out on that edge. So I'm just going to finish up these grasses and make them as thick as I want. You can thicken yours if you want as well, or you can add different colors in there, add more of one color that you like. You can take your fatter brush and maybe cover more area, or your thin brush and create more detail. Just get it to the point where you love it, because these grasses are a huge part of this painting, and then it leads your eye to the ocean back there. So it's really the focal point as it takes your eye to the ocean. And if it's not really the first thing your eye looks at, maybe the water is pulling your eye to it, you can create more shadow by grabbing some of that blue, that dark blue, and having the difference between that light and that dark blue is going to pull your eye to it. See how it does that? And then it'll be the first thing you look at, and then your eye will go to the ocean. Once you're happy with it, sign your work. And sometimes even when I think I'm done, I'll make a few changes to it, which I did in this painting. So it's all right. You can always make changes whenever you want, even if you've signed your work and you think it's done. I'm super proud of you for finishing this painting. If you learned something from this video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure that you have subscribed and hit that bell next to it so you can support more videos like this one. I certainly love making these free tutorials for you, but I need your help, so please share them with your friends. And also, if you'd like to sign up for art lessons, get the reference photos and the color mixing and all that kind of fun bonus content, go ahead and sign up to become a Createful Art member. You can sign up right there, or there's a link in the description. And then go ahead and watch more videos, and I'll see you in my next video.